Okay, now I can try and solve for G. So let's see. In order to solve for G, I need to pick a point that G is not touching. Otherwise, G is just going to be zero. So I think I'm going to pick uh, joint three. So let's see. I'm going to come over here and say sum of the moments around three is equal to zero. Counterclockwise is positive, equal to. Okay, so I know there's going to be G because G is being cut and it has a distance away from point three. But to find that distance, I'm going to need to do some math because it doesn't just tell me in the problem. So if I'm thinking perpendicular to joint three, G, the distance is going to be, okay? So I can redraw this triangle to make it a little bit more clear. Let's say, okay, I can say this is G over 2. I can say this is E, and I could say this is X. It's like mystery distance. So this is a right angle. This is a 45-degree angle. And this one's also going to be a 45-degree angle. So to solve for this X, I'm going to need to know G over 2. I know that E is equal to 5 feet. G over 2, I'm not sure. Let's think about what G would be. I'm going to draw another triangle. I'm going to say, okay, well, this is G, this is E, this is F. Okay. And this is a 45-degree triangle. So I can say I know what E is. I know E is equal to 5 feet. And I know F is equal to 5 feet, just from kind of looking at this problem. And I know that G is the hypotenuse of this triangle. So I can use the Pythagorean theorem and I can say, okay, G squared is equal to E squared plus F squared. So G is equal to the square root of E squared. That's 5 squared is 25. Plus F squared, which is also 25. G is equal to the square root of 50, and that's going to be 7.07 feet. G is equal to 7.07 feet. So then I know G over 2 must be equal to 7.07 divided by 2 is equal to 3.5 feet. A equals 3.51 feet. So now I can solve for X. And I know actually because it's a 45-45 triangle, it's easy. I can say, well, in a 45-degree triangle, the two small legs are equal to each other. So I can say G over 2 is equal to X. X is equal to 3.5 feet. Okay. So now coming back to this moment, I can say 0 is equal to G times that distance, which is 3.5 feet. And I'll just assume G is positive for now. Plus, let's see, did I use F? No, because it touches joint three. Should I use this two kips? No, it touches joint three. Should I use A, B, C, D, E? No, because they're not being cut. Should I use H? Yes, because it is being cut and because it has a distance away from point three. So I can say plus H. And let's see about H. H is creating a pointed to the side here, so it's creating a counterclockwise rotation around joint 3. So H is positive. H times, and the distance is going to be the same as the distance from 3 to 4, which is 5 feet. So 5 feet. Next, I'm going to say, what else is there? Well, there's this 2 kips. So I am going to use it because it's an external force and has a distance away from joint 3. So plus 2 kips. And I could say it's a positive 2 kips because it would create a counterclockwise rotation around joint 3. So plus 2 kips, and the distance is going to be the distance from joint 1 to joint 2, which is 5 feet. So times 5 feet. Let's see, plus, what else is there? There's RA. And RA, I'm going to say is negative because it's creating a clockwise rotation around point 3, which is opposite to that 2 kips. So I can say negative RA times, and then the distance is also going to be 5 feet. Because if you extended RA, you would see it touches joint 1, which is 5 feet away from joint 3. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else? No, there isn't anything else. So now we can start solving for G and say 0 is equal to G times 3.5T plus, well, we know from before that H is 0.66. So plus 0.66 times 5 feet plus 10 kip feet minus RA is 3.33, so minus 3.33 times 5 feet. 0 is equal to G times 3.5 feet plus 0.66 times 5 is 3.3 plus 3.3 kip feet plus 10 kip feet minus 3.3 times 5 feet minus 16.5 kip feet. 0 is equal to G times 3.6 feet. 3.3 plus 10 minus 16.5. 3 plus 10 minus 16.5 is equal to negative 3.2 kip feet. And now we can move this over. We say 3.2 kip feet equal to G times 3.6 feet divided by 3.6 divided by 3.6. And we're going to say G is equal to 3.2 divided by 3.6, which is 0.88. Or I'm just going to say 0.9. G is equal to 0.9 kips. And then now let's think about the direction. Well, we assumed that G was positive, and we got a positive answer. So that assumption must be correct. G must be positive, which means it would be creating a counterclockwise rotation. And counterclockwise around 3 be like this. Okay, so G, the arrow for G here. And if G is pointing away from its point at 4, then that must mean G is in tension. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.